very good advantage over me, so I have to keep myself focused in just play golf.
Defending champion Robert Karlsson remains in contention to hold on to the title. He sits in third place, 3 shots off the lead after making a birdie on the 6th. 2 shots ahead is Austrian Markus Breer, who's ranked 478th in the world. He desperately needs the win to continue playing on the tour. But out in front is a veteran of the game. Thomas Bjorn, a former Ryder Cup star, shot a bogey-free round of 66 to stay in the hunt going into the final day.
Tomorrow's going to be a fighting day by the looks of things. You know, we did that on Thursday, so you just got to, try and stick in there. It's going to be a tough day, but, you're in a good position to do it, and that's the most important thing. But let's see what happens tomorrow.
Well, conditions are expected to get worse on Sunday, and that'll mean that Bjorn and his fellow competitors will face a tough fight, not only against each other, but also the wind. Joanna Gajarowska, Al Jazeera, Doha.
In rugby, defending Six Nations champions France look in ominous form, topping the table after the opening weekend, following an impressive 34 points to 21 victory over Scotland. And while they produce some beautiful attacking play, they'll know they still have some defensive work to do, especially with the Rugby World Cup fast approaching this autumn. Italy came close to their first ever Six Nations win over Ireland, but a late drop goal from Ronan O'Gara spared the Irish blushes. But their error-ridden performance leaves them with a mountain to climb against France in Dublin next weekend. Kim Clijsters and Janina Wickmeyer have given Belgium a commanding 2-love lead over the USA in the quarter-finals of the women's team event, the Fed Cup. With both Venus and Serena Williams out of the US team, Clijsters was heavily fancied to easily beat her less experienced opponent, Nelly Udall. And the Australian Open champion did just that. That ace there on match point, claiming a 6-love, 6-4 win. An earlier compatriot, Janina Wickmeyer, gave Belgium the perfect start against the 17-time champions. She took the first set against Bethany Matek-Sands with ease, closing out the set 6-1. The American fought back in the second, forcing a tie-break, but Wickmeyer held her nerve to seal the win 6-1, 7-6. Belgium are now favourites to go through to the semis after Sunday's reverse singles and doubles rubbers. Austria's Martin Koch has cruised to victory in Saturday's ski flying competition. Koch produced the biggest leaps of both rounds in Oberstdorf to finish well clear of Norway's Thomas Hilde in second and fellow Austrian Gregor Schlierenzauer in third. No one could match that impressive jump or his impressive points tally, which saw him win by 21.8 points. So 2 podium places for Austria sees them extend their lead over Poland at the top of the team tour standings. And this was the quarter-final of the Women's World Cup ski cross event in Utah. A spectacular crash there, taking out all 4 competitors. Miraculously, they all escaped serious injury. The somersaulting Heidi Zacher eventually picked herself up to win the heat and progress to the semis. And that's the sport for now.
Thanks, Zoe. Well, back now to the worldwide reaction to events in Egypt, and anti-Mubarak protests have been taking place outside the Egyptian embassy in Washington, D.C.
Hey, ho, ho, Mubarak has to go!
Demonstrators chanted slogans against the Egyptian president, calling for an immediate end to his 3-decade rule. They also asked the US government to stop supporting him. One of the protesters at the rally was Jahan Moghazi, and she joins me now from Washington, D.C. Thanks for joining us. Obviously, we can see what the mood of the protest was like there in D.C., but you're really not happy with the way that the American administration are dealing with the problem. What would you advise them to do? What would you like to see them do?
You're absolutely correct. I mean, we want more pressure on Mubarak. We want more pressure for Obama to tell Mubarak that he needs to resign now. We need to start moving as a country. I mean, it's stifling to see that we keep doing the same protests and little by little small concessions are made. The Egyptian people's demands are not being met, and that's what we're asking Obama to do, is to place more pressure and tell Mubarak to resign now so that the country can start moving.
What's your reaction then to the seemingly mixed messages that are coming from the presidency, from the State Department, even envoys that are going to Egypt to talk with the administration there?
It's actually very disappointing because the U.S., I mean, we're here, we're a democracy, we always are pro-freedom, pro-human rights, and it's sad to say that the political agenda is coming in the way of the Egyptian people. I mean, allow them to have a free election, allow them to have their demands met, and allow Mubarak to step down now.
Well, of course, one of the big issues is that if Mubarak does go, there's a real fear factor being generated as to what might replace him. Are you fearful as an Egyptian as to what might replace the Mubarak regime?
I'm not willing to succumb to the fear tactics that are being spread out in the media and about different opposition groups joining, such as the Muslim Brotherhood and all of that stuff. I think, and I also found it very insulting when Mubarak said that if he steps down now, that the country is going to go into chaos. I mean, it's sort of insulting to the Egyptian people. And in addition to that, I mean, in an interview that he gave with Christian Amanpour, he said that he was fed up, he was tired. I mean, who wants a president to lead them in the next 8 months who's fed up and tired, let alone the next 2 days? He needs to step down now. And in the media now, people are starting to create petitions to formulate a coalition of approximately 10 individuals that represent Egypt's perspective, that includes businessmen, political figures, lawyers, to help reconstitute the constitution and make those reforms that are necessary. Well, so oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, well, we shall see what does happen there, Jahan. So I hope I haven't caught you off guard there, but there we have to leave it. Thank you very much for joining us from Washington, D.C. Well, we'll be back with more news at the top of the hour with my colleague Laura Khan, but for now we'll leave you with some of the dramatic pictures from Egypt on Saturday, the 5th of February.
Afghanistan is faced with a huge challenge.
Relations have gone really sour between us and our allies.
We have inflicted considerable damage on the enemy.
The people who make international headlines.
Ultimately, the truth will out.
They want to stop this publication of information that embarrasses them.
Make time for Sir David Frost. Frost over the world. On Al Jazeera.
A popular uprising that shook the country to its core. A defiant president under siege from his people. As the protesters took charge of the streets, we look back at the events that are changing Egypt.
I will stay on the air if I can until the police come
in a special program, Al Jazeera gives you a day-by-day account from those that witnessed them firsthand. Egypt burning, at this time on Al Jazeera.
It is in the details. A look. A connection. The moments that reveal the truth. Award-winning documentaries from critically acclaimed filmmakers. Witness documentaries to open your eyes. At this time on Al Jazeera.
I'm Tony Bertley reporting from Sri Lanka on the front lines with the Sri Lankan army as they're pushing the Tamil Tigers back.
Can you hear me okay?
If they see you filming, they're going to take your camera. This could be a trap. Rural areas and villages like this are the prime hunting ground for the traffickers. And what answer is he given when he asks about where the woman is?
Well, there were jubilant scenes when the freed hostages were reunited with their families.
Tony Bertley, Al Jazeera.
From local traders to international finance, it's commerce that makes the world go round. For global companies and developing markets, communication is the currency, and information is the most valuable commodity. Counting the cost at this time on Al Jazeera.
Not leaving, he is leaving. Pro-democracy protests dig in for another night in Liberation Square. Hello, I'm Laura Kyle. You're watching Al Jazeera's ongoing coverage of the turmoil in Egypt. Also on the programme, Hosni Mubarak's son Gamal and the other leaders of the ruling party have resigned, but the president himself is staying put.
President Mubarak's continued leadership is critical. It's his opportunity.
Mixed signals from